Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Wednesday evening to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Hopefully, you are at where you have to be for Thanksgiving, or maybe you didn't have to travel anywhere at all. But, anyways, I hope you guys are having an awesome night out there so far as we're the night before Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving Eve, if you will. We're going to still give you one last update on, not maybe not the last update. We'll still talk about after Thanksgiving a little bit, probably in tomorrow's video a little bit, as a lot of people will be trying to make their way back home this weekend. So I certainly want to keep you guys updated on that. And we will, in the first half of the video, talk about some changes in the forecast as far as the near term and what's going to happen tomorrow over the next couple days. And then the second half of the video, we'll start to discuss a system I'm watching for next week. It could be a dynamic setup. It might not be, but we'll talk about what we know, which is very little detail-wise, but we'll still try to break it down and talk about what we do know. So, like I said, hope you guys are having a good time with your family and doing well out there. And just remember, this channel is one big family. So if you don't have a lot of family, I know we all can't meet face to face necessarily, physical right beside each other, but just know we're all a family here. And if we're all here to talk to one another, reach out to me on social media if you got something to talk about, or if you're lonely, whatever it may be. I really am thankful for every single one of you guys. I'm going to drop a little video tomorrow just talking about that. You know, guys, I like to put a little isolated video away from the actual videos I like do with this. So I'll drop that probably after the morning video tomorrow, but I know a lot of folks will be busy. But like I said, we're going to talk about two different topics in this video. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely hit the subscribe button. Like the video if you like it. And like I said, if you guys got anything that I can pray about, pray over, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. So let's get rocking here. So I want to mention right at the dot, with this system coming in, that's going to be developing tonight, I will tell you already tomorrow there is a marginal risk for severe weather. This includes Houston and bigger towns and communities around Houston. There will be a low end tornado threat for Houston. 2% chance to see a tornado 25 miles at any given location. So there will be a little risk of some strong severe storms tomorrow. So we can't just discount that. And honestly, if we look at the HRRR model, which I'm about to show you guys, it looks like we could have some very heavy rain, some intense storms out there. Certainly possible. But let's just watch out for some damaging winds. Hail probably won't be a threat with this kind of setup, but just watch out for, a quick spin up. You never know when you're in that 2%. You just never know. It's like playing a lottery, but in a bad way. You get what I'm saying? So be careful. Tomorrow, there's also a slight risk of flash flooding occurring. For day 2, this is for tomorrow, for your Thanksgiving. That is at least a 15% chance to seeing flash flood guidance being met in your area. I'm expecting a lot of rain for eastern Texas, the entire state of Louisiana, and then Mississippi, and then southern sections of Arkansas. A few inches of rain are certainly possible, and you can certainly get it in a very short amount of time. Another thing is there's a very small wintry side to this. This has changed, guys. And I feel like for winter weather fans, for folks in Amarillo, and certainly points north and east, it seems like Mother Nature might have just pulled the rug out from you guys. And I mentioned last night, that cutoff lows are tricky. It's like trying to figure out where this pocket of cold air is going to drift. And if it's not over you, then you're probably going to be stuck with a chilly rain. And you could be the same temperature that a location is 100 miles west of you, but that area is getting snow just because there's more cold air aloft. It means everything. I really dove deep into it last night. If you want to, kind of understand what drives these cutoff low situations, they basically just are a low pressure that gets lost away from the main current. And then they just kind of spin around and until they can find an avenue to get back in the current, and then they get back in the main flow and they're on out of here. But in this case, it's going to bring some snow and heavy rain. But these are the winter storm watches. Amarillo right into here. I think they actually dropped the winter storm watch for you guys, and it's all shifted more so into New Mexico. So it just tells you this is a changing forecast. And I tell you what, a lot of people won't know this, but it seems like I see this a lot. In the panhandle of Texas, Oklahoma, yes, they do get a lot of snow sometimes when other people don't. I hear a lot of people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area always complaining about how always Amarillo always is getting it, but we're not. I hear that sometimes from some folks on social media talking weather in Texas. But A lot of times they get kind of in models, they'll show a winter storm, show it, and then within 24, 48 hours, they'll all of a sudden switch it. I've seen that a lot in the panhandle of Texas, so you still got that. But let's talk about the rainfall. Starting tonight, already got showers anywhere from Austin, Texas, all the way almost up to Columbia, Missouri later tonight. They will increase in coverage, and not only increase in coverage, but they will get much heavier. So you could definitely hear rain falling in the middle of the night in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It could be heavy at times, maybe a rumble of thunder. It picks up overnight. We're getting into daybreak tomorrow. It could be pouring down rain in the Dallas area. I mean, absolutely unloading and just some very heavy rain. And then just widespread rains. Fayetteville, Little Rock, southern sections of Missouri, eastern Oklahoma. So if you're traveling in this area tomorrow, just know you're going to be dealing with rain. And then later on, we're getting into, right around when guys, if any folks actually eat Thanksgiving around lunchtime, me and my family actually do just after lunchtime. If you're in Houston, up to Dallas, to Shreveport, you're certainly not going to be able to have it outside. It's going to be messy. Some people, I've always thought it would be cool to have Thanksgiving outside, big long table like they do in Charlie Brown. I always thought that would be freaking awesome, but never been able to do it. But maybe one of these days. But anyways, guys, I like to randomly get off track there sometimes. But Houston, heavy rain, storms, a tornado threat. I'm telling you guys, you got to watch out. But these storms will be basically the most severe or chance for strong to severe storms will be hugging the immediate Gulf coast. But we're getting into mid-afternoon, still raining heavily in Shreveport. And then this rain begins to move into Baton Rouge, maybe New Orleans, a little bit later tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. But you still got showers and storms popping up in central Texas to eastern Texas. And at the same time, here comes this snow. Now, you notice the latest HRRR model doesn't really have any snow in Texas. It keeps it all in New Mexico. But eventually switches it to heavy snow here in the mountains in far western and southwestern Texas. And heck, man, we got to watch out for all these areas. That's why you got winter storm watches oozing into this area. But maybe sometime as we get into Friday morning, even in the southern panhandle of this section of Texas, it switches to some very heavy snow. But this could go on for several hours to maybe a day and a half. And then you have more energy firing up. And this is as far out as the HRRR model goes, all the way up to about midday Friday after Thanksgiving. And you got more heavy rain developing deep down in Texas. For the southeast in general, we'll go 48 hours out. Like I said, this rain will move into Mississippi tomorrow evening. So if you're in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, if you got anything you want to do outside, play that backyard football game, the traditional Thanksgiving that some people do. You certainly want to go on and get it out about early afternoon before the rain starts to move through. And then overnight, the rain will move into Birmingham, into Atlanta, and into all of Georgia. And then by the time we're waking up tomorrow, Friday morning, rain could be widespread in Georgia, South Carolina, all the way up into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast potentially, but still not as heavy as what they're going to see in the western areas. So we certainly will watch out for this, but I don't think we're going to have a severe weather outbreak or anything like that, guys. I really don't. Snowfall, national blend of all models, has definitely shifted more south and southwest. But, all the way up to Amarillo, you still got a chance to see half inch to a quarter to an inch of snow. But you're going to need some drastic shifts because it looks like most of the heavy snow, if you're a snow fan, but most of the heavier snow has definitely shifted more so southwest of Amarillo and definitely into New Mexico, where if you're in southeast New Mexico, you're going to get a white Christmas. It looks like it's definitely possible. But that's the national blend of all models. We look at rainfall between now and around Sunday night. 3 inches of rain potentially for Dallas-Fort Worth area, 2.5, 3 inches of rain for Houston, all of eastern Texas. Arkansas, Little Rock, maybe 2 to 3 inches of rain. Same thing with Shreveport, Baton Rouge. I really think southern Louisiana could get a lot of rain really fast later tomorrow night. So flash flooding will be an issue. Then we switch over and look at the southeast, and there could be a corridor over the next several days between now and around Monday afternoon where, from Jackson to Birmingham to Atlanta, all the way to Greenville, Spartanburg, maybe a couple to a few inches of rain, certainly possible. Not as much in the Ohio Valley, but this will move back and forth some, so we'll watch this. That's the latest information on kind of the now storm. But let's talk about the potential storm. All caps, potential storm next week. So we'll look at the Euro first. Euro is the most dynamic model with this system. But let me tell you, the Euro took a major L, a loss to the GFS in general with the storm that's developing right now. So it's hard to take the Euro super serious. Of course, the European's not going to win every battle, but historically it is the king model. But sometimes sometimes the GFS beats it. We're getting into Tuesday evening. Potentially, Denver could get a big snow event out of this. But you got an upper trough digging out west, pieces of energy flying the base of that trough, and you have the potential for a surface low to develop. This surface low and just, in general, a trough digging out here switches winds out the south. This yanks up a lot of Gulf moisture down here. And we'll talk about the severe threat here in a second. But on the colder side of this, you have snow. And it almost looks like on the Euro that this tries to become negatively tilted. And if it does, it becomes much more dynamic. Winds definitely increase with a negatively tilted trough. The gradients increase or tighten up is what I meant. And these isobars get really close together, and just this becomes a powerful system. And sometimes they can be very small. Like in this case, it might be small, but this is just one model run. We're taking a look at Wednesday morning. This would be switching rain to maybe a heavy snow to Kansas City. Heavy snow for Nebraska, Kansas. But remember, it's one model run. Surface low continues. Down here could be severe weather into the deep south. Potentially. Everything's a potential here. But this surface low continues to cruise through Illinois and then through Wisconsin and bringing that backside heavy snow. So we watch to see how this develops. The GFS, kind of similar, but not as of, it's basically more of just a positively neutrally tilted trough. It's definitely not as dynamic. Low pressure certainly cruises more south. You still get a pool of moisture, a lot of heavy rain. In fact, guys, the south could get a lot of rain over the next, few days, really over the next maybe 7 to 10 days. It's certainly got to watch out with a couple systems flying through. But this could, GFS wants to throw snow from Missouri, also Illinois, Iowa. And if we were to switch to the east, it really likes areas just further south getting more snow. This would bring a big snow event potentially to Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland. As we get into Thursday, Buffalo again. And, a lot of energy flying around. Okay, so, and by the way, stay tuned for Friday. I'm going to take a look, probably Friday evening. We'll take a look at what I'm seeing going into early December. So stay tuned for that. But this snow down here is based off, and by the way, the European ensembles still like a lot of snow for Amarillo. So remember, Amarillo, if you're a big fan of snow and you're disappointed, and I don't know how many people in Amarillo think like that, the threat for snow isn't over. So just continue to watch to see what unfolds over the next 24 to 36 hours for sure. But one thing we watch here is you see the ensemble mean increase up here next week. Symbolizes some kind of storm system that could drop some snow on the colder side of this. How much snow? We have no idea, guys. We don't. And it's just something we need to pay attention to. And here it is. You got it. Because of this deep digging trough and this surface low popping up, you have a severe weather chance for next Tuesday. This is day 7. And I would not be surprised if for day 8 you get a 15% risk also. It all depends on the track of this ejecting low pressure or surface low. Does it eject kind of way up here? Does it go way over here? What kind of pool of moisture do you have in this area? But there's a 15% risk already at day 7. I mean, that's pretty far out in the model world. So, I mean, that's telling you they're already honking the horn on a pretty active pattern next week. We had a break this week. Next week might be different. And what you're looking at here is dew points. Watch as this low pressure on the Europeans, just one model run, kind of cruises across the middle of the country, and with it, yanks in some deep moisture. I'm talking about dew points in the 60s, 70s, all the way down here in southeast Texas. And it's just a moving moist sector. So we don't know the specifics. Are we going to have a big tornado threat? Is it just going to be a strong wind threat? None of those specifics are going to even become remotely clear until we probably get more so to the end of this weekend. I know that's kind of far out, but that's the truth, guys. So just be careful what you watch for and how detailed people get into these things, because nobody knows the details in this system. But I'm starting to think we're going to have a pretty significant system sometime in the middle of next week. So stay tuned for that. I'll probably be our next big topic. But that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. You guys enjoy your family night tonight if you're already where you need to be. And I'll still have you guys an update tomorrow. And I'll probably still squeeze in a video tomorrow night, potentially, maybe. But if there's going to be a night, obviously where I miss a video, it'll certainly be tomorrow night. So just a fair warning. But anyways, that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless all y'all, and have yourselves a great rest of your night.